Mm-mm-mm-mm. Open higher but soon cut. Most of the gains to trade flat to lower on Tuesday following strong gains in the previous session. Traders focused on earnings reports, including from SAP, LVMH, and Thales. At the same time, political situation in the U.S. remains in the spotlight as Kamala Harris secures enough delegates for Democratic nomination. All right, so Benny talked about last year the elections and the potential impact that they could make on the charts and just the number of elections around the world. So we saw a lot of them in Europe and the UK as things evolved, and now we're seeing the US situation evolve, and you're seeing the impact on the markets as well. So people definitely have their eyes on it to see what happens and see who takes office because ultimately that has an impact on a lot based on the policies that they have or do not have. So we'll continue to watch that and see how things go there. The other big thing here is the yen. The Japanese yen appreciated toward 156 per dollar on Tuesday, rising for the second straight session amid growing expectation that the Bank of Japan would raise interest rates again when it meets next week. Uh, Tashimitsu Motegi, a senior ruling party official, urged the BOJ to more clearly communicate its plan to normalize monetary policy through steady rate hikes, adding that excessive yen declines were negatively impacting the economy. Prime Minister Kishida also said that the normalization of the central bank's monetary policy would support Japan's transition to a growth-driven economy. The yen rallied about 2% over the past 2 weeks on suspected government intervention, with the BOJ data suggesting authorities may have bought nearly 6 trillion yen on July 11th and 12th. The intervention data also showed that Japan sold roughly 22 billion in U.S. Treasuries in May, um, building a war chest for potential foreign exchange market operations. Right, so um, the market is preparing for another rate hike, right? But we're seeing that yen come down, and so it's a question of does the softening of the yen ahead of the rate hike cause a more difficult situation for the Bank of Japan? Um, um, so it'll be interesting to see how the Bank of Japan takes the strengthening of the yen now, seeing as it's strengthening relatively well, right? So we will watch things and see how that develops, and see if the Bank of Japan actually pulls a trigger or gives some forward guidance on their plans. All right. So that is the yen. One second, everybody. All right. So that's it on the yen. Yeah, Brent crude stabilized as U.S. stockpile data is in sight. So we'll watch that there. Copper extends losses on China demand concerns. So that's where we are there. Over to the calendar. Today we don't have much, right? I had consumer confidence this morning. No, consumer confidence at 10 o'clock for the euro, existing home sales and Richmond manufacturing index for the dollar, flash PMI and services PMI for the Aussie tonight at 7, and then manufacturing PMI for the yen at 8:30. Tomorrow we have tons of PMI data for the euro, all right? But we also have this Bank of Canada rate statement. Okay. Um, this will be interesting to see, right? To see how the Bank of Canada fares and see what their statement is um, in their plan moving forward. We also have flash manufacturing PMI and services PMI for the dollar, and then that press conference at 10:30. And here's that oil inventory data that the market is watching. And then we have FOMC members and PPI services PMI for the yen at 750. On Thursday, a GDP quarter over quarter and unemployment claims for the dollar. Um, President Lagarde speaks, G20 meetings kick off, and then Tokyo Core CPI on Thursday as well. Okay. Um, then on Friday, we had core PCE for the dollar. All right. So, somewhat of a busy second half of the week. So, we will watch things and see how things go. Any questions from a fundamental perspective? Or anything that you guys saw that you want to bring to the table? No.
No.
All right. Cool deal. Let's hop over to the charts. Take a look at the dollar, and then we will pop through some of these. So DXY, we got the dollar pressing off that support level. This is on the 4, right? And pressing back to the upside. Okay. So we're headed north here. We've kind of been talking about this for a while, looking for dollar strength to come in at some point. So we almost got a double bottom here at that support level. And we're getting a bounce now. So we'll watch and see how much strength the dollar is able to gain as price continues to trek along here. Okay. Um, but we're moving to the upside on the DXY. Okay. Um, yeah, that's there. Okay. So headed along from a daily perspective, there's a swing low, and now we're moving to the upside from there. Okay. Let me add this on. No, I'll have to change that later. Get the right stuff in there. I'll come back to that. But moving to the upside on the DXY. Okay. And that's what we look like on the 1. All right. Over to this dollar Swiss. Come back here. Right. We got this double bottom at this daily support level, just shy of that 50% retracement. Right. And we're pressing to the upside. So we're waiting for, right, that Swissy had picked up some strength, and we're waiting for, right, that momentum to shift. And we're starting to see that. We got that swing low here, and we're pressing to the upside. We're coming into the cloud on the daily, but we're moving long on this dollar Swiss. So we come down to the 4. Come down to the 4, right? So the double bottom more clearly there. And we're pressing back into the cloud. On the 4, we got that 618 retracement. So we're looking at this move to the upside here, right? We had the 80-20 to the downside, beautiful double bottom. Now we're looking for the shift and this move back long. Okay. And this is that setup that we've been talking about. Hopefully some of us are in, and we're looking for this action here to occur. If something happens and this pulls back and goes deeper, we'll adjust that take profit level. But ultimately, that's the move to the upside that we're looking at. Okay. That's what we're looking at. So dollar Swiss headed long, all right, playing out in our favor. So we come down to the 1, and similar to that 4 hour, all right, 618 retracement headed to the upside. Okay. And here on the 1, you see, right, you have the swing low on the daily here, and we're getting that cloud break on the 1. Take that off for a second, right? We got the cloud break on the 1, right? So some additional confirmation of price moving to the upside. Okay, so we're headed long here. So we'll sit, and this one will allow it to do its thing. Questions on the dollar Swiss? No. All right. Cool.
Actually, no question.
Cool deal. Thanks. All right. I'm watching. I'm gonna come to this one. I didn't have this on my list, but we'll take a look at it because I'm watching this one to see what happens in these lower levels. So on this NZD-JPY, we already got a 618 retracement. Price is heading down. That yen is gaining some strength here, right? So we broke back below that B boundary. We're headed to the downside. Strong bearish move. We got stochastic in the buy zone here. So I'm looking for an opportunity to buy this back to the upside, or at least get a pullback, a nice strong pullback for price to then continue to the downside if it's going to, right? But this is a strong bearish move, right? Kind of similar to this action here, right? So watching this one here as we press deeper into the zone. So we come here to the 4, and this one took out those. Oh, there we go. All right, this is at 80-20 on the 4. So we're coming into a 618 retracement level here and a sub fib D extension. Okay. So I'm looking to see if price is able to settle in here and maybe even press to a 786 level, right? 78686 range, which would set us up for the C to D move back to this level, right? That 98,152 area. And basically what that'll do is that'll retest the zone that price broke out of, this consolidation, and we haven't gotten yet. And so if price is going to still short on the Darwin, awesome. Great work. Great work. Um, so if price is going to continue to the downside, we'd love to see this retracement first before we get that continuation. So I'm watching price as it inches lower into this range here and see if we can get price to settle in. And then I'll look for the buying opportunity, be it potentially short term. And then look to get that move back down. Shauna, good morning. Good to see you.
Morning.
Um, how are you?
Better.
Good, good. Glad to hear your voice. So looking for that action there on the 4 hour. Okay, looking for that action there. And then we'll see where we are from a fundamental perspective and see if the Bank of Japan comes in and gives us that type of action. All right. So that's on the 4, coming down to the 1. Right. And this is where we are. Okay. Price pressing to the downside. This was that larger move down. Whoops. This is that larger, where we go. There we go. This was that larger move down. Okay. So price was pushing into that 118 and 127 zone, which is aligned with the 618 retracement on the 4, right? So do we get to the D extension here? We'll see. But looking for price at some point to settle in and see if we get this retracement opportunity here. Okay, so that's the action that I'm watching it from the 4-hour perspective. But if you're looking at an 80-20 opportunity here, if price settles in the zone, then we'll look for that reversal back long. Okay, questions on this New Zealand yen?
I do. Can I see your daily with a cloud?
Yeah.
Because I've been doing the daily and the 4 on this one.
Okay. Just breaking the cloud here on the daily.
Okay.
You got a Kumo twist, TK crossover, lagging span, below price. Lagging span coming if the cloud hasn't broken the cloud yet. So this could give us that pullback.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes, but that could be the situation there.
I just wanted to verify because when I looked at it, because I was playing the 80-20 on the daily, even though it was across all 3 of those time frames, when I was looking at the 4, I was trying to see, I'm like, is that at the 382 at the daily? And it's funny how the 4 shapes up from the daily.
Yeah, right. Yep. I follow you on that. Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's see. Let's see if we get that action. At least, like I said, at least a pullback, right? At least a pullback to give us a high price to get back short with for those that may not be and get short with the Bank of Japan there. All right, cool deal. Any other questions on this NZD JPY? No. All right. Um, Over to this Aussie CAD. We had that 80-20 on the daily, right? Pushed it into that weekly resistance, and we're headed down. Right. We do have stochastic now in the buy zone, so we could be in for pullback coming, but we're headed to the downside here. Pressing into the cloud on the daily. Right. That swing high, boom. Right. So we're pressing into the cloud there on the daily. Come down to the 4. And here we talked about this last week, right? 80-20 scenario, push deeper into the zone. We got that trend line break, we got consolidation, and then we got continuation, right? So looking for this one to continue to the downside. We'll look for pullbacks in between, but ultimately looking for this one to continue moving down at least to 94.04, but we'd love it to get down to this 89.408 level and potentially deeper here. Okay, so headed to the downside on this Aussie CAD in our favor. All right. Then as we come down to the 1, we can take a look at this from a couple different perspectives, right? Here's that 618 retracement. We didn't get to the D extension, right? And we turned over. I want to run a fib because we got this cloud break, right? That swing high on the daily, cloud break, continuation. So I want to track this to the downside, right? And we're coming into this area here. So we could be in for this pullback, right? 80-20 on the 1. We push into that 118 level and see if we get pulled back into our zone and potentially opportunity to get back short there. All right, so let's watch this here. on a potential retracement play. Like so. All right. Questions on the Aussie CAD. And here we're looking for a high price to get short.
Man, I was looking at this last night. I don't know why I didn't hit that button.
What? Looking for
A sale.
a sell on it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's moving. It's moving nice. It's moving nice. Yep. Yep. Moving nice. So look for this high price though, right? Come back into the zone, retest some of this lower time frame consolidation, right? Maybe even get back to 91.82. I'm sorry, yeah, 84. But right, look for a high price, and that could definitely give you an opportunity to get short there. Congratulations, Shauna. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh, thanks, coach.
All right. Any other questions on the Aussie CAD? Nope. All right, cool deal. Aussie New Zealand. Still sitting at these high prices. All right. We broke this level and we've just been consolidating here at this fresh AB boundary. All right. So I'm interested to see what happens. We got price pressing down into the sell zone. So we'll see, right? We got a swing out of form there, strong bearish action, pullback retest. We could stay there for a bit as this back and forth with China and their stalled growth. So we'll see what happens here, but are we able to get price to ultimately move back down to the downside? Okay. Now we come down to the four, and this is that 80-20 that we've been watching for a while, right? And this is that consolidation. This could turn out to be a crown pattern. If price turns over and makes its way down, right? So watching this to see if we're able to get a breakout to the downside. We also got, right, looking at candlestick patterns, you got an evening star here in the consolidation. Decision, indecision, decision. So it'll be interesting to see how this moves, right? But are we able to get price to go ahead and make this transition to the downside here? All right, tons happening in that consolidation. So we'll continue to watch that on the 4 hour to see how it goes. And on the one, we also have this tight 80-20 here. Didn't quite get to the 382. Right, we got this small fib here on this bullish candle. So we're just range bound here. You see price just moving across the screen and through the cloud, right? Looking for a breakout in one direction or the other. Okay, so watching that one there also for move to the downside. I got a small position in this one, looking for that type of action there. Okay, questions on the Aus and New Zealand? I know that was quick, but it's just pressing sideways on us. Nope. All right, cool. The Aussie dollar, right? With that dollar gaining that strength, we saw price turn over and move down, right? We zoom out, came back to that 786 range, and it's been down ever since, right? So now, are we able to get a pullback for a continuation down? Right? We got stochastic in the buy zone here, right? As we're coming into some of this support in this area of consolidation. right? So do we get a pullback and then a continuation to the downside here? Come down to the 4. This fib still hasn't popped in, which is fine, but we got a deep retracement here. Okay. Deep retracement here. So we'll continue to watch and see how it develops. I bet. I bet. We'll see how price evolves here, right? And see if we get a pullback and a continuation down and take out that A. Okay. So we'll watch. Got a nice cloud break there. So that pullback will be to retest that cloud ultimately, if we get it. Okay. Let's run this. Yeah, D extension overextended there. So look for a fresh AB boundary and a pullback. So now as we come down to the 1, right, just shy of that 118 and 127 zone. So are we able to get another push down and push us into our zone? And then get that type of action. Retest this area of consolidation here, and then give us a higher price to get short. Okay. So watching this action here. And if we don't get that push down, that's okay, right? I'll look for a high price and then look for opportunity to short this to the downside. Ultimately tracking this off the daily time frame in this longer move down. Okay. That's where we are. Questions on the Aussie dollar?
No question.
All right, cool deal. Boom. All right, cool. So that's that. Well, this cat Swiss. Definitely watching this move back to the upside, right? We might be ready for this to take back off. So we've been tracking to the downside, just like that dollar Swiss, right? That Swiss picking up that strength. We didn't quite get a double bottom here at the support level. But we're starting to turn over. So are we able to get price to bounce and move back long? We got 786 retracement here. So our matching D extension would be here at 67,296. Okay. This is off the daily. So Stochastic is still in that buy zone, right? Trying to push out of that zone there. Looking forward to move back long. Okay. So are we able to get price to really take off here? We already got that swing low to form. Boom. I'm gonna lighten this up a little bit. We got that swing low to form here, right? Low, 2 candles to the right. So that's a support level. Now we're able to get some momentum to the upside. Okay, we got that rate statement for Canada coming tomorrow, right? So that could give us some insight here on how this moves. But we'd love for this to start getting some legs and really start making its way to the upside. Okay. Coming down to the 4, right? This was just a fresh B boundary. Push up, pull back. Let's see if we can get some extension action happening there. Okay. So looking for that to continue pressing to the upside here. And then down to the 1, we got an 80-20 here on the 1, where we've just been consolidating, pushed up, broke the trend line, pulled back, retested everything, and now we're turning back over. Okay, this is a previous level that I took out, so that's no longer there. Boom. Right. So looking for this to go ahead and continue moving to the upside against the Swissy, right? And this trend line would have been adjusted. That's your low, so I actually would have came like that. Boom. Okay. So just pushing out of this 118 to 127 zone. Maybe we get another pullback to retest some of this, right? Maybe we get a small pullback like that, but ultimately looking for this to continue moving in that direction. Okay. Questions on CAD Swiss? My entry was here on this one. Nope, no questions. All right.
No.
And this is the shorter term move here. But we know from a daily time frame perspective, we got a larger opportunity on this to we got a larger opportunity on this to move further, right? And this is just on the 1 hour time frame. So I'll just draw that in there. Okay. All right. Cool deal. There we go. All right, so that's the CAD Swiss, right? Moving along in our favor as well. Let's look at this Euro Aussie. I'm mad at myself on this one because I I had a stop placed weirdly and I got stopped out on this and then price turned over and took off and I didn't get back in. So I'm eagerly waiting to see what happens here. But we zoom out, 8-6 retracement. And you see price turnover has been long ever since. So we broke our trend lines and yep, exactly. That GA2. We broke our trend lines, we're headed long. So what I'd like to see is a pullback here, which would give us head and shoulders pattern. I believe we might have taken out that high, so it could be a crown pattern, but a pullback for a low price to then get back long on this. Okay. So that personally, right? That's what I'd like to see to give me another opportunity here. All right. Um, but overall, that's the move we're looking at and looking for price on this daily. On this daily to head here. Okay. That's what we're looking for there. All right. So price moving to the upside, headed long. So down to the 4, similar story on the 4, deep retracement there, right? Again, larger fib happening, but right here we got 7-8-6 retracement headed to the upside. Same story though. So we zoom in here and you see we're starting this pullback already. This can Can you give me a pullback, Bryce? Can you give me a pullback? Give me an opportunity here, right? Just shy of that 382, so we got an 80-20 here. So are we able to pull back and retest the 61,337 level, right? So if anybody wants to play this 80-20, potentially could on that move down and then look for a low price, right? In line with that support level to get back long. So that's the sub fib there. But we come down to the 1, and you see this is a fresh AB boundary on the 1 hour, right? Looking for similar action, a deeper move on the 4, right? So we'll see what happens there. But just looking for this retracement action. This dog is going to town on this bone on the side of my desk. Um, looking for that to happen there. And then back to the upside. Okay. So either that in long or coming back to that 161 area. Okay. So watching that there to see if we can get that low price. Okay. Questions on the Euro Aussie.
Nope.
Nope. All right, cool deal. Euro CAD. So this is an interesting one. Been watching this in from multiple angles, right? Still sitting at high prices. The euro's in an interesting situation. Undecided on the path forward as far as rate cuts go. But we've been pressing long, right? Sitting at deep retracement on the monthly time frame, deep retracement on the weekly time frame with a sub fib 80-20, right? We got this little wedge happening here, right? And we're back to the top of that wedge. So I'm looking to see if we're able to make our way back down. And then do we have momentum to break that and press down to the downside? We'll see there. But we come to the daily, and on the daily, we also have an 80-20, right? And this is just the long drawn out range that we've been in. So we're at the top of the range, coming back down potentially to the bottom of the range. Okay, we got stochastic coming out of the sell zone here. So are we able to get this action and this move back down to the downside? And then we'll see what happens if there's a continuation there due to a fundamental catalyst, or does price get to the bottom of the range and move back north? We'll see all that and how that plays out. But over the long term, we could potentially have this 80-20 play out and get back to the 382. So we'll watch that over time. But looking short here, so we come down to the 4, and we just got to this 4-hour D extension, right? Move back down to the downside. So we're headed down now. We'll get an AB boundary to pop in here once this candle closes. Okay. And then we'll look to see how price evolves from there. But I'm looking for short. Well, I'm short on this already, right? I did take a short off the high on the daily. And so I'm looking for this to continue moving to the downside with pullbacks and continuations. So we'll see how it evolves. We got that, like I said, we got that rate statement tomorrow. We'll see if that gives us a catalyst for the Canadian dollar, give it some legs and really start to push, but we could get a pullback in the meantime. And then looking to see if we get a continuation short here. Okay. For those trading on lower time frames, don't have anything on the 30 on that move down, but on the 15, there'd be a fresh AB boundary there, right? So nothing doing there on the lower time frames either. So let's watch this and see if we're able to get this move to continue moving to the downside. Okay. Questions on the Euro CAD? Nope. All right. Euro NZD at some high prices again, right? We came back to this weekly resistance level, 182. Okay. Do we get price to turn back over here and move back down to the downside? Come back to the daily, right? And we're just range bound here. So top of the range, can we move back down to the bottom of the range? We got stochastic in the sell zone, right? Looking for the swing high on the daily to form. We get that, right? Do we see price follow? On the 4, we got an 80-20 here, right? Trying to turn over and move down. So we'll watch this one and see if we're able to get that to continue. But boom, this is what I'm looking at here. At least there, but potentially further, depending on fundamentals here. Okay, but pressing to the downside. Okay, so that's your 80-20 on the 4, and then on the 1, you just pressed into that 118 level before price turned over. So looking for this one to pull back and then continue moving to the downside. Right, could give you a mini head and shoulders here. Whoops, wrong one. Okay. So we'll watch that and see if we get price to turn over and make its way down to the downside here. So that's what I'm looking at here. I'm playing this one off of the 4, right? And looking for that move down. Looking for that move down there. So that's the Euro NZD. Any questions?
No.
All right, cool deal. So that's the Euro NZD. We're short there. Euro dollar. This one has also been interesting. We had this crown pattern drawn for a while. We haven't completed yet. We got stochastic pressing to the buy zone, but we got the swing high to form and we're pressing down. All right. So looking to see if we're able to continue this move to the downside with the dollar. Okay. I am long-term bearish on this. All right. So I do have a position, a short position on this. No, I didn't read, so I'll take a look at it. So I am looking for this to continue moving to the downside. I'm in the camp of price getting back to parity at some point. So we'll see if that happens. But I'm short on this, playing this to the downside. Okay, we come here to the 4. And we have that nice deep retracement here. 8-6 level. Looking for price to make this move down. Okay, looking for price to make that move down. We're already starting the motion. Let's see if we get price to continue. Price continue moving down here. Okay, similar to that Aussie dollar, deep retracement, right? And looking for price to move to the downside. So tracking this one down off the 4, nice 8-6 retracement. If we drop the cloud on, right, we're just trying to break the cloud here now. Don't quite have a Kumo twist yet, but we do have that TK crossover. Lagging span is below price, right? So we almost have our confirmations from a cloud perspective, right, for that reversal. Now we're just waiting on price to close below in a nice bearish fashion, right? We already got a trend line break if you trade off the trend lines. But if you're waiting on that cloud confirmation, just looking for a bearish break and close, right? We get a nice bearish break and close. That'll give us nice opportunity to move to the downside there. Okay. So that's why I'm on the euro dollar. down on the 1, you had your 80-20 here, right? And you see the beautiful move down. So we're getting closer to 382 on the 1 hour if you're trading this there, right? But with that swing high on the daily, you also got a cloud break on the 1, and you see price continue to move to the downside. Right? So looking for this one to continue these ABCD waves to the downside here. All right. But this was a nice 80-20 that played out. All right, 79 pips to the downside. Okay. Questions on the euro dollar? What does the fib look like from the top? On the 1, yep. Already got your high price there. Boom. So matching the extension is around that in between that 382 and the 50% level. Okay. Cool. Let's bounce back. Aussie yen. Obviously, it's been moving to the downside, right? Boom. Trend line breaks, the whole 9. Another yen pair I'd like to see a pullback on. I'd like to see a high price to then be able to get back short. But I haven't gotten one yet, right? Almost been straight down. So this fib, I'll look at this on the daily and then go down to the forward reset in at 80-20. But on this down fib off the high on the daily, you do have price pushing into that 118, 127 zone. All right, so you got that there on the daily. See if we get a high price and then turn over, right? Come down to the 4. Clean this up here on the 4. Just shy of the 382 on the pullback there, and you see price lingering in that 118, 127 zone. Just cleaning some of this up here. All right. Just missed that 382 there. Press down 118, 127 zone. So are we able to settle in here? It was stochastic on the daily. Stochastic in the buy zone, right? Are we able to settle in here and give us this retracement? All right, we've already took out these levels. So now, do we get this pullback to retest some of these higher areas? Good calling this, Reese. Appreciate it, man. Missed the opportunity here. Back to the 382 or deeper. Boom. There we go. All right. Let's see. So that's on the 4. What does it look like on the 1? On the 1, we got the extension. So we're looking for a new AB boundary on the 1 hour. Okay. But 80-20 on the 4. See if we get a high price to get us back short. So for the Japanese yen, we got their rate statement coming next week, right? So we'll see how it evolves. So we're talking about, does this strengthening of the yen kind of put the Bank of Japan in kind of a lurch on how they move, seeing as they're getting a lot of pressure to give direction on rate increases and potentially even have consistent planned rate increases. So does this strengthening of the yen early impact that decision? But if we get price to give the retracement and come back to a high price between now and then, could that set us up for the Bank of Japan to go ahead and make that decision a little bit easier? Right? So we'll see how it all evolves. So we'll watch that there. Okay. Questions on the Aussie yen? Nope. All right. Cool deal. Pound Aussie. Just like that Euro Aussie took off to the upside. All right, look at that. Beautiful. And double bottom, right? We're talking about this back and forth here. Do we get a bearish crown action or do we get a bullish crown action? Got double bottom at this support 89,067, and we're headed long. All right, we're able to break these daily levels and continue to push to the upside. So we're headed to 195,696, right? But it took off out of that zone. Okay. So we'll come down to the 4. I thought we had a larger fib on this. Maybe not. Maybe I was tripping. Yeah, I think I was tripping. But, right, double bottom, takeoff. Okay. So now let's run a fib off the low here. We got an 80-20 here for potential retracement and continuation. Strong move up. Do we get a pullback? And maybe we just come back and retest this 193 level, right? But on this pound Aussie, that 193 level, that's 150 pips, right? So 80-20 opportunity here, and maybe we do press deeper, but we're at a high price there. Okay. Stochastic is in the sell zone. So we could get some alignment here for a retracement. So we come down to the 1, and you also have your 80-20 here. Okay. Price pushing to the 118, 127 zone there. Breakdown. We're getting a pullback now. And then see if we get price to give us that type of action. And then we'll see what happens here, right? If price settles in, we could then get back long. Okay. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. Potential retest of the cloud, and then the bouncing continuation. So there's your 80-20 on the pound Aussie to the downside. Questions on the pound Aussie? Nope. All right. And we'll wrap things up with this pound CAD. Just turning over, trying to press to the downside. Here on the daily, we've been headed long, right? We're just shy of 786. So ultimately, the matching D extension is here at 181, right? We're pressing down on the stochastic, pressing toward that buy zone. So do we get a retracement to come to retest this 176, 164 area, right? Break and retest type situation. Coming down to the 4, you got an 80-20 here, right? Price broke down, came back into the zone. Now we're trying to turn over and press back down, right? That 176 area comes in around a 786 retracement. Okay, so do we get this move to the downside? Retracement, 140 pips, then give us an opportunity to get back long, right? something like that. So 80-20 here, boom, to the downside. All right, so looking for that to continue at least to the 382, but like I said, at least we could come back to that 176 level. Okay, then on your one, boom. All right, we're looking for either a move down or press into the 118 and 127 zone and then that retracement. And that's what we got. So now we're looking for that continued move to the downside here. Questions on the pound cap? No. Questions on anything that we covered today?
No.
No. All right, good people. Be patient, right? Pick your spots. Don't got to trade everything. Find your 1% today, man. That's it. Just 1%. 1% per day. 1% per day is life changing. So you guys have a phenomenal Tuesday. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for this pre-New York session. Have a phenomenal day, everybody. Peace.
Thanks, Ryan.
You're welcome.